Hey, what is up guys? It's James Malins, the UK's #1 wisdom guide and your source of all things law of attraction and wisdom. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get what you want. So in this video, obviously, if you do enjoy the content or you do want to hear more after it, give it a like, give me a subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, when it comes to looking at how to get what we want, we have to first look at ourselves. And this is a very important fact in the law of attraction when it comes to life, is that we have to identify how we see ourselves. If you look in the mirror or you close your eyes and you look at yourself in your imagination and you think that you're worthless or a failure or you're not going to be worthy of the gifts and the things that you want to attract in your life, then guess what? It's going to be extremely difficult for you to do so. So the first principle that we're going to be talking about today is looking at your self-image. Now, looking at your self-image is simply looking back at some past experiences that you've had. So if you're in school and you were failing at a lot of lessons and failing at a lot of things and you were called a failure, ask yourself the question, do you still consider yourself a failure today? And the same goes through all different aspects of your life. Are you a failure in your relationships? Are you a failure in your job? Are you a failure in anything else that you do? Because if that's how you feel, then you're going to still feel like a failure when it comes to manifesting things. And then 6 months, a year or 2 years down the line, when you've still not got what you want, you're going to look back and you're going to start to question the reality and the truth of what is the law of attraction. So you have to look at your self-image and you've got to look at the way you see yourself. Because if you don't see yourself as a positive person who can achieve anything they want to do, who's got the world at their fingertips, who is able to do and be anything they want to be, then it's going to come into conflict with what it is you want to attract, and you're actually going to end up repelling what it is that you want. Which brings me nicely onto my next point, which is identifying what you want. You know, when you're trying to manifest, ask yourself specifically, what is it that I want? Because there's two different types of manifesting. The first one is a broad manifestation. You know, you might say to yourself that I want more money. You know, well, how much money? You know, do you have any idea where it could come from in these next few weeks or months? You know, and that's not to say you have to focus on that. However, and we're going to cover this point later on down in the video, when it comes to actually manifesting specifically and broad, they both have their uses. You know, if you can manifest broadly because you don't quite know where it's going to come, that's fine. However, if you know that you've got a job opportunity that's going to give you a £20,000 bonus, guess what? You should pour a lot of your time and a lot of your focus and a lot of your positive energy into that avenue right there. And because guess what? There's a high chance it might happen. If you've already been developing relationships and building on that and attracting that already, then there's a good chance you could focus on in there. And don't worry if it doesn't come from there, because that's how the law of attraction works. If you still focus and manifest, it's going to come in the future, and you just have to live and breathe in that. So it's important to understand the difference between broad attracting and specific. So let's talk about specifics for a second. So when we're talking about specifics, we're talking about, you know, I want to manifest a girlfriend or a boyfriend and I want them to have brown hair, a gentle nature, I want them to be passionate, I want them to be, you know, have big goals and aspirations in life. If that's what you want, then have that in your mind every single day, 6, 7, 10, 20, 50 times a day inside of your mind. And if you really struggle with this, and don't forget that when it comes to habit, I believe it's somewhere around 60 times it takes for you to change specific habits. So if you want to do this, do it 60 times a day. And then you're starting to reach the obsession points, which is good. You know, so when it comes to obsession with people, we start to look and we, you know, take a step back and think like, wow, well, I don't want to be obsessed about people. However, if you've got your self-image right, you know who you are, you know your value, you know your worth, then you can go ahead and attract who it is you want because you've got it in your mind's eye. And when you focus on it so much and for long periods of time, that is how the law of attraction really becomes extremely powerful and starts to work for you in ways that you never thought it could. Now the next point, and this leads us on really nicely to the next point, is looking at your beliefs. And this is similar to the first point of, you know, looking at your self-image. However, your beliefs are a little different. You know, what is it you believe about the outside? You know, what is it you believe about the external, which is a better word? What is it you believe about what you can accomplish? Because if you don't believe that the law of attraction works, guess what? It's not going to work for you. You know, or it's going to work in an opposite direction. You're going to get everything that you don't want. Because the beauty about the law of attraction is it works whether you believe in it or not. You know, if you're getting a load of bad experiences in your life and stuff that you don't want to happen, it's because you're attracting it into your life. You're constantly focused on the negative. You're constantly focused on what it is you don't want to happen, right? It's not to say that, you know, oh, well, I don't want this to happen, and that's like going to repel it. No, if you don't want it to happen because you're focused on it, it's going to happen. It's all to do with your focus on attention. If you're putting so much of your attention on the negative, then negative things are going to start to happen. If you're putting all of your attention on the positive, then positive things are going to start to happen. And that's just how it works. It works like that because it's where your focus is driven. You know, we're very goal-orientated beings. You know, as humans, we are very goal-orientated. And whatever you focus on, whether you believe it or not, is going to come into fruition. So look at your beliefs. If you don't believe in the law of attraction, or you don't believe that people are good, or you believe that all men are bad, or all women are bad, then guess what? If you believe that all men are bad and you're a lady looking for a man to marry and have children with, you're going to get bad men, or you're going to get no men at all, because it's the way you're interacting with people. So don't forget that your beliefs actually affect the way you interact with people around you as well. So the next part of this video, which is super important, is asking yourself the two questions. Number one, what is your willingness to learn? And number two, what is your willingness to accept change? And I actually got this from somebody else, Kevin Trudeau, if any of you guys have ever heard of him. These are the two questions that he said, and I think they're absolutely genius. Every single day, ask yourself, what is my willingness to learn? And what is my willingness to accept change? Because once you hone in on those, and once you truly understand on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are on that spectrum, you can finally understand how and where you are in your ability to use the law of attraction. Because if your willingness to learn is a 0, you're not going to be able to use the law of attraction the way you want to. And if your willingness to accept change is a 0, then guess what? You're bringing your spectrum of being able to use the law of attraction from here right down to here, because you're narrowing your options. The law of attraction might put you in a situation where you have to move house to find everything that it is you want in life. But because you're too afraid, or you might be too scared to go ahead and pursue that, you end up losing out on what could be the best thing of your life. And the final note of this video is making the moves. You can't just use the law of attraction, sit back, grab a hot chocolate and just wait for everything to fall into your lap. You've got to start making the moves and make them on educated understanding. Everything that I've done with the law of attraction, everything I've brought into my life, everything that I've used on the law of attraction side of things, I've made moves upon. You know, if I didn't go down to London and meet the right connections and speak to the right people, I would have never got to speak on stage. And this is what you've got to understand. It's not just about it falling into your lap. You have to take the initiative and make the right moves in order to get to where it is that you want to be. So you have to focus on these principles if you want to use the law of attraction and get what it is you want. So remember, when it comes to the law of attraction and looking at how to get what you want, you have to look at these principles. Look at your self-image. Identify what you want. Look at your beliefs. Ask yourselves those two important questions and make the moves to getting what it is that you want. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate every single one of you. Drop a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon if you did enjoy it. I'll always be putting out content every single week to help you get what you want and understand yourself better, so that you can make your life the best life that you've ever wished it for it to be. This has been James, the UK's #1 wisdom guide. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.